This is Shane Harper from Good Luck Charlie and God's Not Dead, and you're watching Dispatch Radio.
All right, folks, you may know him from an incredible role on different soap operas, General Hospital and Port Charles, Kevin Collins, but he is also a writer and a director of a very, very interesting new film. It's winning tons of awards at film festivals. It's called How We Got Away with It. We have Jon Lindstrom on the phone. How are you doing, Jon?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
All right, I want to get right to this film. It's described as kind of a mystery and a thriller. It has such an intriguing trailer, and of course it's been doing great at film festivals and that kind of thing. Give everybody a little bit of an idea of the general story.
In a nutshell, it's about how a young man and his friends react very violently to a sudden tragedy right on the eve of their annual summer reunion. It is a mystery thriller. It's set in Rochester, New York, which was shot in the summer. It's a beautiful place in the world, I have to say. But back to the film, this young man, Henry, portrayed by the actor Michaela Burnett, who was also a co-writer of the script, portrays Henry as a young man whose very rash and unpredictable response sets in motion a chain of events, of secrets and revenge and murder that ends up changing the course of everyone's lives and threatens to destroy them all. So it's not a comedy.
It definitely doesn't sound like one. And when you put together something like this, obviously a mystery and a thriller has such a different formula than some of the other different genres do. How do you approach that? I mean, it's got almost like you're rewriting it so many times to make sure that you kind of pull the audience along at the appropriate pace, right?
Yeah, you have to structure it a certain way. Originally, McCaleb and his friend Jeff Barry, who was also in the film, plays the role of Will. The two of them came to me with that screenplay, and I had already written a script called The Hard Easy that had been made back in 2007 with Bruce Byrne and Vera Farmiga and Peter Weller. Wonderful cast. And I have a pretty deep, I'd like to say, knowledge of the genres of thriller and mystery and certainly film noir. I just happen to be a fan of those things. And when they brought me the script, I felt that they had a good idea, but it needed a structure, and it needed to follow kind of a chain of events that would eke out information in a way that would keep the audience interested as we move from scene to scene. It's not an easy thing to do, but if you do it successfully, then it's very satisfying for an audience to watch, and it also helps keep the suspense and the tension high. So if you do it that way, then you hope to keep people involved all the way through the movie. So when I took it, I thought, okay, what we need here is to kind of base it on a couple of templates, and what kept coming back to me was the European crime thrillers of the 1960s and the 70s, particularly the great French director Jean-Pierre Melville. You might know his films like Le Cercle Rouge and En Flic and Bob Le Flambeur. He tended to write about crime and the people who step over into the dark side and commit the crime. And I thought that this film, the script that they brought to me, presented us with that kind of an opportunity. And they jumped into that wholeheartedly right along with me, and we rewrote the script over a period of years, actually, with that in mind.
Jeff and McCaleb, you mentioned also star in the film. I mean, obviously this is such a passionate project for them from the sounds of things. And how was it like working with them on set and the three of you sort of collaborating to make this a reality?
You know, it was great. There's a funny thing that happens when you all really want to do it, and people are hungry to do something different, and you're hungry to get your passion project on screen. Everybody seems to get along. And I got lucky. We have an amazingly good cast, and everybody was very well prepared. They were all well trained. They all had chops, and they all have talent. But McCaleb and Jeff and I particularly got along great, partly because they knew to step out of the way and let me direct the movie, because the director has to be the director. But, these guys had very strong ideas about what they wanted to accomplish, how they wanted to play their roles, and I can't be a dictator in the sense that I would have to push them in different directions. You have to allow them to have their ideas. And besides, it just makes a better collaborative set if you're willing to do that. So all I can say is I can't speak for everyone, but I know I had a great experience working with Jeff and Michaela, and would do it again in a heartbeat. I really don't know much else to say about it unless you want me to get into the nuts and bolts of what it's like to work on a film, putting the scene together, and that's frankly kind of boring unless you're doing it.
No, I understand what you're saying. I think that says it all, and I think you're right when you talk about a passion project. It kind of smooths the road rather quickly, but let's go back to your incredible resume from the different soaps that you've been on, the daytime television awards and all of that, to now go behind the camera of a film like this. What was some of the transitions and things that you just kind of felt early on in that career, or is it something that you just kind of like, in the back of my mind, you're just kind of like, I could do that?
I have always, I've always wanted to do this. I've been an actor for a long time, but what drew me to acting was really my love of movies, my love of films. The first one I turned on to was From Russia with Love with Sean Connery, and I think I was 5 years old, and I just realized, wow, that's the world I want to live in. Yeah, a world of make believe, I guess, but.
It's fantastic. It's just a fantastic resume that you've put together, and obviously with the film.
Thank you very much. It's, I've been very, very fortunate to work a lot as an actor and to be around good people, and to have the time to watch a lot of movies and study them, and thanks to the digital technology that came along 10, 12 years ago, virtually anybody can become a filmmaker, and so did I. And I started making short films and editing my friends' demo reels, and I just started to learn how to make films. So to take all the knowledge that I've accumulated over the years, hopefully it's good knowledge that I could put to use, it gave me the chance to bring it all together and do it in a way that's resulted in a feature film. I've had other filmmakers come up to me after they've made 8, 9, 10 feature films, and they either shake your hand or shake their head and say, well, congratulations, man, you got your first one in.
Wow.
Because they know how truly difficult it is to get your first feature done.
And how we get away with it's what we're talking about with Jon Lindstrom. He's the writer and director and creator on this film that's, I guess it's set to have a wide release on May 13th. How many theaters do you think to be able to get into on May 13th?
Oh, well, theaters are something that we're going to go to kind of piecemeal, one at a time. Theatrical releases for a film like this don't mean a whole lot, but financially speaking. But we are going to run in Los Angeles on May 16th to the 22nd. We may run in New York. That's really more of an awards consideration thing. But we are going wide on May 13th digitally through iTunes, Amazon, Xbox, Google Play, many VOD systems. In fact, we're on VOD systems right now. We're starting to pop up, but we're aiming as May 13th as our wide release because that's the day we go everywhere.
Fantastic. That's fantastic to hear, folks. And,
it's very, very exciting. And I'm already starting to get a lot of Twitter and Facebook messages from people who are watching the film on their VOD and really, really enjoying it.
That's great. And the feedback's been amazing from the different film festivals. And that kind of, now, what is that circuit like? Let's give people, because I've been to some of these things, but some folks don't really even know. You hear about Cannes, and you hear about a few of the big ones, but there's so many of them all over the country. Great opportunities to meet independent filmmakers and young filmmakers, or someone like yourself with a ton of experience, but now they've got this one feature. What has that experience kind of been like?
It's been really gratifying. It's a haul. I'm in middle age now. I'm healthy, but I'm in middle age. And, the last thing you want to do is get on a plane and fly somewhere for a day and show your film and then leave. Hopefully you can stay for a few days. But it's been great to go to these regional festivals. And you're right. People talk about Cannes. They talk about Sundance, Tribeca, the big five, as it were. And I don't want to use the word co-opted because that sounds a little too cynical, but those festivals, those big festivals are very, very important to the movie industry, to the studios, to the Miramaxes, to the Weinsteins. And they go after them very, very aggressively. And if you're one of those festivals, who wouldn't want to be basically fed those films? Because, film festivals are a business, and they need to get people into the seats. The next tier down are what we call the quality regional festivals. And those are the ones that I got into because I didn't have a studio. I didn't have backing, a publicity machine behind me to lobby on my film's behalf. My film got into those festivals because, like everybody else, I paid a submission fee, I sent it off, and they either accepted it or they didn't. The good thing is, it found the festivals that it should be a home in. The Soho International in New York with a New York cast, and shot in New York. Of course, we should screen there. The Sonoma International, the St. Louis International, the Marina Del Rey. The list goes on and on. The Bare Bones in Oklahoma. I've just been invited to screen at the Philadelphia Independent this June. And along the way, you really do meet those incredibly, just gifted young filmmakers who also are on their first film.
Right.
And everybody loves what they do. Everybody loves movies. They love the process of making movies. And it reminded me of my early days as an actor when I get into acting classes or you join a theater company. That incredible enthusiasm and passion for the craft and what the outcome of the craft is, the movie or the play or the TV show. It brought me back to those days, and it's really reinvigorated my own passion and reminded me, John, you got into this for a certain reason, not just because you dig it, but because you dig doing it. And I feel like I did back then. Like there's no stopping it. And it's I'm eternally grateful to the experience of being able to go to those festivals and to meet those people. And I've got a whole new Rolodex of friends all over the world now.
Priceless, just priceless.
I've made friends with filmmakers in Chile and Israel and Italy and all over the United States and Canada. It's fantastic, and we communicate all the time.
It's just fantastic.
And we help each other. Yeah, it's wonderful. It really is wonderful. It's a brand new community that I've been introduced to.
Obviously, when you're on, 3 mammoth name daytime soaps like As the World Turns and Port Charles and, of course, General Hospital, can you even shop in a grocery store without, somebody going, you're...
Actually, that's the beauty of doing one of those shows. You still can.
Oh, okay.
My wife just began Young and the Restless, and my wife is Katie McLean, and she, she's just gotten back to work and is very happy to be back to work after making a couple of short films of her own and writing a book, which is coming out. She wrote a memoir that's coming out in a couple of weeks. But we go to the store together and do our shopping. And I don't mean just the Whole Foods. We go to the Ralph's or the Albertsons. No problem.
That's great.
I suppose it's harder for Harrison Ford. I don't think he can go and shop for avocados, but we can. And that really is one of the great byproducts. We can still do what we love and still just live our lives.
That's fantastic. Now, doing soaps like this, as long as you really have a really incredible insight into the process, because the process for something like that is so different than even regular television, let alone, filmmaking and that kind of thing. How does the script process get to you as the actor? How far out are you getting scripts?
It's changed over the years. You used to get them a little more ahead of time. Nowadays, we get them probably... I just actually just got some GH scripts today, actually. So I just received some this morning that I start shooting on Monday. So what's today? Wednesday?
So less than a week, almost a week. Okay.
A little less than a week, yeah. Which is, given that we have to shoot, we bang these things out, all day, every day, when you're working a lot. That's not unusual. Often you can't even get down to focusing on it until the day before.
Wow, it's got to be just a rigorous schedule to balance that, and then also the film.
Not a sprint. You have to pace yourself, and just try to take it easy. But you learn how to do that. It's like a muscle that you work every day.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting analogy. I don't think I ever looked at it that way. But so when you're doing that, how on earth do you juggle the film, not to mention all the other appearances? I mean, you've been on NCIS and I mean all sorts of stuff. So that's also, another thing you got to try to fit in and juggle, not to mention,
Well,
being being a husband and leading a life.
Yeah. It can be a challenge sometimes. We all want to do different things with our careers, certainly, and so, we want the opportunity to go off and do an NCIS or do a feature film or go make a movie like I did. It's part of the learning how to roll with the vagaries of an entertainment career. There's never any real set schedule. There's never real any kind of routine to it. Sometimes the only routine is being unemployed. But even that you have to learn how to roll with. But, I don't know. I've been doing this a long time. It seems almost, that's what I expect now. If I have to juggle things, then I have to juggle things. And you learn how to make time for everything, including your wife and your life.
Absolutely. We're talking with Jon Lindstrom. I want to really get to this film, howwegotawayWithIt.com. You can see the trailer, catch some more information, and get some of the feedback from the film festival.
Sign up for our mailing list there. Subscribe to the mailing list. We'll let you know where to find it.
That's great, and it's getting ready to roll out in May. Going to have it on basically everywhere, from Amazon to the Google Plays and all that stuff. And as well as you go there and you sign up, you'll be able to get some of the insider info and get it even before that date, I'm certain. So it sounds like an exciting time for you, Jon.
It is a great time right now. I'm having a ball, and I feel like I'm doing good work. I feel like I'm in a good creative period. We're actually, Katie and I are talking about starting up a web series of our own for no other reason than it sounds interesting and we'd like to do it. Of course, I'm shooting General Hospital here and there, which is great fun to go back and see my friends. I'm a newlywed, and I hope to always feel like a newlywed. And, we're surrounded by great people, great friends, great family. Our blessings are really golden. We're really, really happy to be where we are, who we know right now.
That's a great place to be in, and we all got to stop and count our blessings, and that sounds like that's where you're at, and that's great. So, JonLindstrom.com, you can find that too.
Whenever I feel a little down about that, just go, oh boy, I'm unemployed today. Where do I go? Stop and think for a minute. You know what? Life is good.
Yeah.
Life is good. I have a lot of blessings and a lot of gifts.
Yeah, absolutely. And I assume there on JonLindstrom.com we can get the Facebook, Twitters, all that kind of stuff that you kind of dabble into, I assume?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody's into that. I try to keep my tweets humorous. A lot of the time they have to be about the movie right now because, of course, it's coming out. But yeah, you can go to JonLindstrom.com, sign up, find my Facebook page, my Twitter feed. All that. It's very easy. I'm easily Googled. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you've got a unique name, and now of course, with your legacy, you can beat out all the new Jon Lindstroms, so it shouldn't be too hard to track down. We'll link to it, make it easy for you folks. We're just joking around, but Jon, I appreciate you fitting us into that schedule. That's great. I look forward to watching this. I know it'll hit the digital market here soon, so I'm going to be catching this right away. How We Got Away With It is the name of the film, mystery thriller, which I love to death, mysteries and thrillers. So good. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you very much, Brandon, and cheers to all of you.
All right, take care, sir.
You too.
Bye-bye.